Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Giselle and I have a pick a card reading for you today. So a few weeks ago, I did a reading with what are the main blessings coming your way in the year of 2021. And if you didn't watch that video, I'm gonna link it up here so you can check it. But I wanted to do this reading with the main challenges coming your way in the next few months. What are the lessons that you need to learn from them and also how to overcome them. I have 4 piles for you to choose, and I will insert an overhead picture so that you can take your time and choose your pile like within your time. And I will also link the timestamps in the description box and in the comments down below. So once you choose it, you can go there and jump straight into your reading. But before we do that, I also wanted to tell you that this is a general reading, so take what resonates. Maybe this, if it doesn't resonate with you at all, then maybe it's just not your reading, and there are other amazing readers on YouTube, and I'm sure you can find one that works for you. Also, even though I'm recording this video at the end of 2020, so if you're watching it right now, consider it for the next 3 months, the beginning of 2021. But I'm also setting the intention for it to be a timeless reading. So whenever you come across this video, this is the right time for you to watch it, and there will be a message in it for you. Okay, so I'm gonna now show you the piles, and I'll see you in a bit. Welcome, pile number 1. This is the reading for everybody who chose this amethyst cluster here. So we are going to take a look at what are your main challenges coming in the next few months, and also some advices of how you can deal with these challenges, how you can overcome them. So I have some oracle cards for you as well that I'm going to leave to the end. And I have the cards with your challenges and also the cards with your advices, okay? So the first card that we have, which will talk a bit about what is the challenge, is Get Curious. This card. So the first message that I'm getting with the Get Curious is that pile number 1 might struggle a bit with coming out of the house, coming out back into the world. And I know that, yeah, saying that coming out of the house, I don't know where you live, and I don't know how is the situation where you live right now, if you are in lockdown, if you can go out on the streets, if you can leave the house, if you can meet people. I don't know what is your particular situation. But what I'm getting with this Get Curious card is that there will be a certain resistance in meeting people, in going out, in having fun. I think that this group might struggle a bit with introspection and a bit of antisocial behavior, of wanting to be inside the house, of not wanting to meet a lot of people. And even if the lockdowns go down and we go through the situation at the beginning of the year, towards the beginning of the year, then I still get this feeling that this pile will be resisting that. I think that this pile got very used to being inside the house, of not meeting people. And this card asks you for that, to be curious, to show yourself out in the world. So how can you meet the new situations coming in? How can you meet the world again? How can you connect with people again? So this gives me this feeling that this might be quite a lonely pile. And maybe this loneliness isn't something, maybe for some of you, this is something that is more related to your personality. You have always been introspective and you never really like to be connected with a lot of people. You are more of a lonely wolf or something like that. Lonely wolf. I said this in a very weird way, but but anyway, I don't know if this is something that is in your personality or if it's something that became more prominent throughout 2020. But I see this resistance in going out. And with this Get Curious, I don't know if you can see, but there is the picture of a bird here. There's a bit of a reflex, but there is a picture of a bird. And I just see this bird exploring, you know, and also with the get curious message, asking you to explore new people, explore new situations, go out, meet people, and or maybe even for some of you, you have been struggling with some very toxic people in the year of 2020, and you have cut out some of these people out of your life, and now you're feeling a bit, yeah, I don't feel like going out, I don't feel like meeting new people, I don't feel like, you know, connecting again with people. But the get curious card tells me that you should try to be more open to new people, try to be more open to new situations, to the world again. Don't just be inside a hut. And I think that this group has been inside a hut for a bit long already, and this is good. This is always good. It's always good to be in that hermit mode, right? To take some time to look into ourselves, to work through our own issues, to realize, okay, what here needs to be decluttered out, what here needs to be transformed. But after that hermit period, it's important to come out of the mountain and explore life again. So let's take a look at your tarot cards. That's perfect because it goes a lot with what I said. So here we have the Eight of Swords in the reverse and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. So the Ace of Swords in the reverse, it's good because it's in the reverse, so it's not like this. So I think that you realize that you need to take the lead, that you realize that you need to go out there, you know. But with the Ace of Wands in the reverse, there is this resistance of doing that. So even though you realize that you need to leave this cage, that you need to detrap yourself, I don't know if that word exists, but to release yourself, I think that the Ace of Wands in the reverse here shows me that this resistance with going out, taking the lead, taking the initiative. And I think that there is something for this group that you want to achieve, because we have two wand cards here. So we have the Ace of Wands in the reverse and the King of Wands. So something that is coming to me is also maybe some of you got a new job offer and you are required to take a higher position in that offer. Or maybe you have to move to another country, because these are wand cards, and wand cards are very related with movement and traveling. He is a Sagittarius king. So maybe for some of you, you would have to move to another country in order to take this offer. But there is this resistance, there is this fear. There is a lot of blockage here with both the Ace of Wands in the reverse and the Eight of Swords in the reverse. So there are some blocked energies, and these are internal struggles. Because the Eight of Swords here is a lot of internal struggle. So it's not so much from the outside, it's not a limiting situation, it's a limiting belief. And especially a limiting belief in oneself. So if for some reason this group is feeling like they are not capable, if they can't take the lead, or they are afraid of taking more responsibilities, because this is also about the King of Wands here. The King of Wands is a king, so he takes responsibility over his kingdom. So maybe you're being offered a promotion, a higher position in your company, and you don't know if you should take that or not, because you don't know if you want that extra responsibility. But then I would ask you to take a look into yourself and see if you really don't want the extra responsibility, or is it because there is an underlying fear that you are not capable of taking that responsibility? Because this is what is coming to me. So it's interesting because the blockage here is an internal blockage. It's not an external, right? So even though this is a reading of the main challenges coming in the next few months, I see this as an internal challenge, not external. The pile number 1 being afraid of taking this leadership role. And with the Get Curious card, I go back into that message of explore. before you rule it out, before you say, I'm not capable of doing this, it's not gonna work, or I don't know if I want that promotion, I don't know if I want that amount of responsibility. Explore it a bit, explore the idea. Don't rule it out completely at first, explore that idea first. So I'm gonna take a look now at the cards with advices. So let's see. Yeah, this is really interesting. So first, this is the Wildwood Tarot. I've been dying to use it because it's a new deck and it's super beautiful. So we have the Moon here with the Eight of Swords in the reverse. And I realized that I think I'm too... Yeah, let me rearrange the cards here so they don't stay too much here on the top. So we have the Moon. So there is that fear of the unknown, even though you want to release yourself, even though you want to allow yourself the peace and the courage to be more free and to go after your plans, to take that job, to take that responsibility, or to go out, meet new people. The Moon here shows a lot of fear. Fear of the unknown. And it ties back to what I said about the internal struggle, because the Moon card is a very internal card. It's not outside situations that are making you feel scared. It's a bit of that need to control the outcome, which ties for me with the Eight of Swords. So there is a need to control the outcome. You need to know what's coming out of it. You need to be sure that your efforts are going to be well paid. You need to be sure about what is it that is coming. But the Moon asks us to keep moving even though we can't see everything. Because if you can see here in the image, everything's a bit dark. The Moon doesn't illuminate things completely. If you go out at night and you walk in a forest or in a very dark place, without the artificial lights, and you have a very big full moon in the sky, you can find your way, you can see the path, but you can see much beyond that. So you need to have that faith of where you're going. You need to have that faith that what you need to see is being illuminated. And also the card in the tarot, the card that comes right after the Moon is the Sun card. So we need to come from that struggle, we need to come and to walk with that faith of not seeing what lies ahead, because we are walking towards the sun. We are walking towards the Sun card. So as an advice here, the Moon says that have a bit of faith. Get curious, explore it, but try to release the need of knowing the outcome. Try to release the need of controlling the situation, of knowing exactly where it's going, because you won't always know it with the Moon card. And that's the lesson in the Moon card. The lesson in the Moon card is to have the faith, to walk through it. And then with the Ace of Wands, we have the Six of Wands. Here in this deck, it's called the Six of Bowls, and it says abundance. So I really like these decks that have some keywords at the bottom, because they talk a lot about that's also why I like to use different decks, because they add an extra layer of information to the card. And sorry for my voice, but my voice today is a bit... Let me have a bit of tea. Okay, so the Six of Bowls here, the Six of Wands, says abundance. So this is a struggle, this is an opportunity that you're struggling to accept, that you're struggling to take, but that will bring a lot of abundance to you. I see this as something really good, and it's so interesting because this is a reading about challenges, and what I'm telling you here is that there's something great coming your way. And the challenge is accepting it. The challenge is having the confidence to take it. That's the challenge. So instead of seeing a problem coming here, I see abundance. I see an opportunity, a great opportunity. An opportunity for success, for money, for love, for whatever it is that you're looking for. But you need to take the courage to accept it. You need to take the courage to take it. To explore it. And then we have the 9 of arrows, which is the 9 of swords in this deck. And it says dedication. So in this deck, it's a different card from the regular Rider-Waite card. And she's tied with the King of Wands. And it's so interesting because what I said before about the King of Wands, remember that I said that maybe this is an opportunity to take more responsibility, and you are telling yourself that you don't want that responsibility, but that might just be that you are afraid of not being capable of it. So you tell yourself, nah, because these are all mechanisms, we tell ourselves these things to actually protect ourselves from failure. So you might be telling yourself like, nah, I don't want the responsibility. It's not something that I want for my life. But maybe in the end, it's not that you don't want that responsibility. It's that you have the fear of failing. And you rather not take it than see yourself as a failure. So it's just a self-defense mechanism here to keep yourself from failing, to keep yourself from acknowledging that you might fail. But the thing is, I don't see this failure coming. And with this 9 of arrows, the 9 of swords, because if you watch other readers or if you watch me here on YouTube, then this card is a card in the Rider-Waite. This is a card with a man waking up at night and he's having nightmares and he's being consumed with a lot of stress, anxieties, and nightmares. And here we have this woman shooting many arrows in several different directions, and they have all failed. But then it says dedication, which means we aren't born knowing everything. So for instance, for those of you who are thinking if you should take a promotion or a new job or something like that, because I don't see a lot of love related in this reading. Maybe it is about going out and meeting new people, but I see this more business-oriented or a new project, a new study. I see it in a more practical way, but if it's love or if it's a new social group, etc., it could also be. But I'm going to use the example of a new job, okay? So, you are not born knowing how to be a leader. These are things that you might have a predisposition to that. You might have a natural talent for that, but you can only really learn how to be a leader if you practice, if you take on a role. So, for instance, someone who first became a manager, even though they had these leadership skills, they only really learned how to be a manager once they decided to take on a managing position, right? So with the dedication card here, or also maybe some of you are thinking about starting a new business and you think you're not capable of that. So again, the dedication card, you need to try it and try it and try it, and you're gonna fail many times, like these arrows that are all shot in the wrong direction. But you need to continue having that dedication and not let the fear and the stress take over you. Not letting the fear and the stress stop you from taking this, okay? So now I have an animal spirit card for you, and I love this deck. I'm feeling so connected with it, so I wanted to use it in your reading as well. And we have the vulture, okay? So we have the vulture card. And I really love how these readings work because the cards, they just tie so well together. So the vulture, the message of the vulture here is that what is the animal, right? After another animal dies, the vulture goes and it eats the dead meat. And I know that this is gross, but the thing is, the message of the vulture is that nothing goes to waste. What is a waste for some people is not for others, like the vulture. So the vulture does that cleaning process, But the thing is, what I see here with the voucher and with the get curious and with the dedication is that even if you do fail in this, even if you put yourself out there, if you apply for that position, if you try to start that new business, if you try to get closer to that social group that you have been wanting, if you ask that person out, even if it goes wrong, it doesn't go to waste. You are still absorbing something from that. You are still gaining experience from that. So even if you find out that that's not what you wanted, that wasn't for you, or even if you fail, it's still an experience that you're gaining from it. So the voucher card is not only about success. This is not a hawk card, you know? So it's not about success. And what it says here, even though I see a lot of success cards here, what it tells me is that the main message is not go do it because you can. It's more go do it because what do you have to lose? You need to get used to putting yourself out there. You know, and this is a work in your confidence, also with the King of Wands, because he is a very confident king. And whenever either the king or the queen of wands appear, they always talk to me with this, about this confidence and high self-esteem message. So with the king of wands and the vulture here, it tells me you need to learn how to have this confidence to go after what you want, even if you're afraid of failure. Because in the end, with the vulture card here, nothing goes to waste. It's still an opportunity, it's still an experience, and you're still taking a lot out of it. So now I have 2 oracle messages for you, and this is a deck that I always forget the name, Angels and Ancestors. So we have Earth Mother with Feel Loved and Comforted. And you know what is interesting, because how I'm reading this card, I am thinking of the Empress in the tarot. And I don't know if you can see with the light, but she is pregnant, but her belly is the world. So for me, this card talks about all the opportunities, all the possibilities in everything that we do. She's birthing the world. So she's birthing a world of opportunities, of infinite opportunities, of infinite possibilities. But you can only have access to that, of what all the possibilities that can happen if you get curious, if you go out, if you take on it, if you have the confidence to try it, if you have the confidence to overcome the fear of failure. And then we have Mending. So we have this card, Mending, and this card has 2 kids. And they are like sewing something. And what I feel with this card is a lot with that fear of failure. Like, it's almost as if you are afraid of going after something with the King of Wands. Because if you lose it, it's like, wow, it's forever. There's nothing else there for me now, you know? So there is that fear of failure, but also a fear of scarcity attached to it. So you don't want to know that you failed that, because if you fail that, that's it. That's the end. And it's not. With this Mending card, everything can be recycled. Everything can be mended. And maybe it can't be mended with that person, with that situation. So for instance, if this is a person, maybe for some of you this is a person and that you want to connect with. And you are afraid that if you try and fail, that's it. Like, there are no more chances with that person anymore. But this Mending card tells me that there are always new chances. And maybe there are no new chances with that person. But there will be still for you, with the infinite possibilities, with the infinite other people that are out there in the world. So it's the same with the job. Even if you are afraid of applying for that company or that position and failing it and thinking, okay, but if I fail it, it will never be offered to me again. But the thing is, then you wouldn't get it anyway, right? Because if you don't go for it, you would still be without it. So what's the difference between not having it because you didn't try and not having it because you tried and you failed? But with the mending card, it tells me, even if it fails with that company, even if it fails with that position, it doesn't mean that it's the end for you. There are still so many other companies, so many other positions out there for you to apply to. There's always a mending, okay? So whatever it applies in your situation, as I said, either if it's a job, if it's a person, if it's a social group, whatever it is, if it's a new project, a new study that you're starting, or if it's your own business that you're trying to start, whatever it is, don't be afraid of trying it because you think that if you fail, that's it. There's always a mending. And if there isn't a mending in that particular situation with that person, with that company, there's still a mending for you. And that's what matters. So focus on these infinite possibilities in this birthing of the world. Sometimes we have a very limited perception of things, as if that's the only thing that can be. But that just comes from a fear of scarcity, because the possibilities are endless. Like, the world is a huge place. So that's all I have for you today, group number 1, and I hope you enjoyed this reading. And if you did enjoy it, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And also, I do work with private readings as well, both astrological and tarot readings. I'm also leaving my website in the description box, and if you feel called to check it out, please do so, okay? So I'll see you next time in your next reading. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi, group number 2. This is the reading for everybody who chose the group with the citrine here. So I'm gonna take a look at your cards, but first, let me light. I'm gonna light a bit of Palo Santo here. Okay, so I have some oracle cards for you, and I also the tarot cards, and we are gonna see what are the main challenges coming your way in the next few months, and also some advices on how to deal with them. So I have your main card that will give me some idea of your challenges. Then we have the tarot cards of your challenges, and we got one extra card for this group, and we also have the cards with some advices on how to deal with that. Okay, so let's see. So we have ask body. And at first, the first thing that this card is telling me, and I don't know if you can see the image because it reflects, these cards reflect a lot of light. So there is a tiger, and he has an eye here on the top, his third eye, and it's not his third eye, I think it's his crown chakra, because it's right on top of his head, it's not here. So his crown chakra is wide open, and he's receiving a lot of information. And the first thing that comes to me is that this is a very spiritual group. I think that this group can feel energy, can feel other people's energies. Maybe you do have some sort of psychic gifts. Maybe you have clairsentience or claircognizance, clairaudience, or even clairvoyance. But you feel other people's energies a lot, and I think that you have a strong connection with the divine, with this crown chakra wide open here. And then the name of the card is Ask Body. So I think that this group might struggle with two things. I think, yeah, and it makes sense because we have 4 cards here, because I am getting 2 messages for this group, okay? So take what resonates. But what comes to me is that 2 things. First, I think that this group will struggle with connecting with the physical world in the next few months. because when the crown chakra is too activated, not only the crown chakra but the upper chakras, so the third eye, the ajna, the forehead chakra, the crown chakra, when they are all too much activated, but you don't have a connection with the root, if the base root chakra is not well connected, not well grounded, and the card is called Ask Body, then you might feel overwhelmed by the energies that you are receiving. It might be very overwhelming. And that's why it's very important to root yourself, to ground yourself, to connect with the body, with the now, with the everyday tasks, with the work, because you need that balance. In order to develop the upper chakras well and to know how to use them, to not be overwhelmed by the feelings that you're getting from other people, the messages that you're receiving, you need to have a good connection with the physical world. So this is very important for this group. And the other message that I got is that some of you might feel extremely overwhelmed by other people's energies in the next few months, and it might be hard to separate what is yours, what belongs to you, and what doesn't. So you might feel feelings that are not yours, you might think thoughts that are not yours. I mean, the energy of those thoughts, they will still be in you, because energy, like attracts like, okay? So the energy will attract that which it resonates with. But still, sometimes you might be taken away and feel overwhelmed by thoughts, ideas, and feelings that are not necessarily yours, that you are attracting from other people because you are very sensitive in the next few months. So this is very interesting, but this for me is a very spiritual group. So with the Ask Body here, again, even if you are feeling lots of things from other people and you're not being able to recognize and separate what's yours and what isn't, it's important to connect, to ground yourself with your body, with the day-to-day things, like the mundane things, cleaning the house, doing your work, I don't know if you have kids, taking care of the kids, doing all those regular things, getting a massage, giving yourself a massage to connect with your body. So doing things that help you connect with the physical world, with what is tangible. Because you need that connection in order to better develop the upper chakras. You need that connection in order to better identify, to have discernment over the energies that you're picking up on. That's very important for this group. So let's take a look at it already came a lot just in this card, right? But let's see your tarot cards with a better description of these challenges. Yes. Okay. Let me have a bit of tea. Okay. So I'm getting two messages, and that's very interesting because, as I said, you are the group who had 4 tarot cards. I think that no other group had 4 tarot cards, but I see 2 different messages here. So I don't know if this is for 2 different groups. Maybe for some of you, you will identify only with one part of the story, and maybe for some of you, it's actually 2 different challenges that are coming here for one person, okay? So you will know what fits in with you. So for the first group, what we have is the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse and the Ace of Swords. So there's a lack of focus here. And the lack of focus actually is quite interesting with what I said with the Ask Body. Not so much, not only with the spiritual part, but maybe the fact that you are spiritually awakened is not the challenge itself, is a message, but when you don't have the focus to choose where you want to invest, it makes it all much more difficult. So I think that this group is struggling to make a decision, is struggling to choose one thing and to have discernment over something. Because when the 2 of Pentacles is in the upright, he is juggling between two things, but I don't see it as someone who is confused and juggling. He can. It's the work of trade. He's a trader, the Two of Pentacles guy. He has two pentacles and he knows how to trade them. He knows how to invest it and for it to return more money. But when it's in the reverse, there's a lack of focus. So you might be investing on everything. You might be trying to get your hands on too many things at once. And if you have that lack of focus, if you don't have clarity, how can you develop that? Because the Ace of Swords, all the aces are starters. They are beginning of new projects, beginning of new opportunities, beginning of new studies, beginning of things. But the Ace of Swords is that intellectual start, is when you realize this is what I want and you start planning for that. But if you're trying to juggle too many things, how are you gonna plan for that one thing? What are you gonna get? You need to focus, group number 2. It's very important for you to focus. And with what I said, that this group is a spiritual group who is very sensitive to energies around, it's even more difficult. Because as I said, I don't see that the energy itself is the challenge, but it's just adding more to the challenge. So this group needs to make an extra effort to be focused. This group needs to make an extra effort to choose one thing and to have mental clarity and to have discernment, because they are being overwhelmed by decisions, thoughts, and emotions that are not even theirs. So it's very important to make this grounding process, this grounding ritual here, in order for you to gain a better mental clarity, because also the Ace of Swords is connected with the Ajna chakra. And maybe you never heard of this name. I follow a different energy school. So in the school that I follow, we learn the chakras by their names instead of, I know that some people call them like first, second, third chakra. But also there are more chakras that are below, there are more chakras beyond those 7 chakras that we usually learn, because they are either minor, or some schools, they just don't teach them. So the 7 main ones are the ones that are mostly known. But there's also the Ajna chakra, which is a very important chakra, and a lot of people call it the third eye. But actually the third eye is in the middle of the forehead. The Ajna is between the 2 eyebrows. And this is a very mental chakra. It's the chakra that commands all the other chakras. And he is the rational mind. So when you have a strong and a clean, strong, energized Ajna chakra, you gain clarity. You can do things with clarity, with focus. But as I said, in order to develop the upper chakras, we need to have a very rooted, grounded base chakra, root chakra, okay? So I think that this group is struggling with that. It's a group that already struggles to make this different choices. Is a group that struggles with trying to get their hands in too many things at once, have too many projects, too many hobbies, too many things going on in their lives. And then being sensitive is just adding this layer of being too overwhelmed to it. So this is a big challenge that I see coming. This group needs to learn how to prioritize, to focus on one thing and develop that thoroughly. And then the second group also adds to me a lot with these energies, because I think that, so either if you are going through both changes, or if you see yourself more in this group or that group, for one part of this group, at least one part of this group, what I see is that there is an ending here of a situation. And with the 6 of Cups here, I think that this is someone from the past. So I think that maybe this is not someone that you are still in contact with. I don't think that this is the ending of a current relationship. I think this is talking about a relationship that has already ended. Either if it's a love relationship or a family relationship, because the Six of Cups here is a lot about family as well. So maybe with the holidays now, you don't have a good relationship with your family. You are apart from them. You have decided to cut out, or even if they are friends, or if this is an ex, someone that you have been together, an ex-husband, an ex-boyfriend, an ex-friend, but it's someone that is already in the past, but the ending that you had between them, with them, is already is still lingering on your mind, and going through this in-between phase is being hard because you also continue picking up on their emotions. So this is making it extra hard for you. So even if it's already over, even if it's a family member that you're not so much connected with anymore, or if it's an ex, lover, boyfriend, husband, whatever, this ending has happened, but energetically you are still connected with them with this Ask Body card. And if you are still energetically connected with them, then you are picking up on their emotions as well. And that just makes it harder for you to deal with it, to go through this ending, to leave it completely behind, because energetically you are always being reminded that that person is still in there. So this is another challenge. So in the end, there's this big message of grounding yourself and remembering that you are being overwhelmed by other people's energies, but that you can't let that stop your life at this moment, because with the Ace of Swords here, I think that there's something very important that you need to accomplish, something very important that you need to start, a project that you need to start, a choice that you need to make, a decision. And I see this decision very grounded in the real world, so like a new job that you need to decide on, a new business that you want to start, or a new studies that you want to start. That it's something grounded, and it's a decision that you need to make, but you're not completely focusing on it because, there are just too many people inside your aura at the moment. There are just too many energies from the outside there that are cluttering your energetic field. So it's important for you to ground yourself, to clear yourself. And you can look online. There are many meditations or processes for you to clean and energize yourself energetically. Taking a bath or a shower with salt water, rubbing it on your skin, like carefully, of course, and in your main chakras, that's very helpful to remove the energy, but it needs to be done daily or almost every day. And then going for long walks, or just if you have a park nearby, you can go to this park and you can imagine some roots coming out of your base chakra, so the base of your spine, and also from the soles of your feet, and going deep down into the earth and grounding you. This is also something that is very helpful. And if you don't have access to nature, you can just go to a very peaceful place inside your house, close your eyes, and imagine that you are in a nature area that you know. It needs to be a place where you have been before, because then you're more connected to that place. So imagine a park or a forest or somewhere you have been to, and imagine that you're there, and then do the same process with the grounding. And focus on these daily tasks, focus on these small minor things and on the body itself, because that helps you ground as well. So now we go to the advice. This reading is getting long, so let's see some advices for this group, how to deal with this. So we have the Two of Bowls, decision, come on, together with the Two of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. Then we have the Six of Cups again. So we got this card coming out twice, the Six of Cups, and it says reunion. So again, it talks to me about definitely someone from the past who is still attached to you energetically. And if you don't want this person in your life, I would really suggest you to cut out the cords. You can look online and find ways to cut the cords between you two. There are many ways to do that. And also some amazing people on YouTube who make meditations teaching you how to cut these cords, okay, with meditations to cut them. So I would really suggest you doing that. And we have the Ace of Swords again. So this is crazy. We got two cards that repeated themselves. So we have the Ace of Swords again with the spark of life. Although the Ace of Swords here is coming with the Six of Cups and the Ten of Swords. And the Two of Wands, because it's called differently in this chart, so I needed to stop and think for a while. It's called Two of Bows here, but it's the Two of Wands. It's connected with the Two of Pentacles. And I have, how I see this is interesting. So even though I said that for some of you, you might be in two groups. So there might be two groups of people. One group that are connected with this situation and one group that is connected with the other situation. I think that for a lot of you, it's actually just the same thing. It's the fact that you are moving on from this ending, and that you have this person still connected to you energetically is causing an impact in you making your decisions and you focusing on your daily life. So for some of you, I think that for most of you actually, this is the same thing. It's the same situation. And the tarot is just showing two different aspects, what is influencing what here. Because we have the Six of Cups tying everything's right in the middle of the two advice cards, and it's called reunion. So again, so with the Two of Bows, which is the Two of Wands, and the card is called Decision, and it's tied with this Ace of Swords and Two of Pentacles here. So again, it tells me that you need to make a decision. You need to focus your energy on one thing, or maybe two things. But I just see this group juggling too many things at the same time, trying to get their hands on everything, being successful on everything, and you can't do that. You need to focus one thing, and you have to kind of sacrifice something else in order to have that one thing. So you need to make a decision. You need to gain the clarity of mind to make that decision, because you won't be able to have both, and you won't be able to be happy with both or to make both with the same level of quality. Okay? But for that, again, you need to connect, you need to ground yourself. That will really help you do this. And then with this Six of Cups right in the middle here with the reunion card, again, I feel that whoever this person is, they are very connected with you energetically, and that's not doing you good. That's really not being good for you here, because they are cluttering your energy. I don't see this as a good thing. I see that they are really cluttering your energy, absorbing your energy. That is just making things harder for you. So again, we have the Ace of Swords repeated here with as the Ace of Bows, spark of life. I think that whatever you have coming is something that is very positive to you, but you need to shoot. You need to choose one target, because you see how this is very interesting in this deck. The swords is actually represented by bows, by arrows. And we only have one arrow here. So you only have one shot. You need to choose your target wisely, because you have one shot. So choose it wisely. Instead of putting your energy on many different things, what is the one thing you want to focus everything you have? What is the one thing that makes you happy? And what I'm also picking up right now is that for some of you, this person or this group of persons, because this group of people, because the Six of Cups here, especially with this card, it gives me the impression that this could be a group. So it could be a family group. It could be one person that you cut off your life, but it could also be a group of people that you are pushing out, okay, that you're pushing away. But what I'm picking up is that for some of you, the choice is between this person or group and the thing that you want. So it's like you can't have both. So if it's a job, let's say, and you need to move to somewhere else, And then you need to choose. Either you want to stay behind and try something with that person, or you're gonna go after that job, even though it's in another town or in another country, and then you know that it's the end of whatever you have here. And then at this time, you can't have both. Maybe you can in the future, but what the tarot is telling you is that it's important to choose one thing, to focus on one thing. What is important? And let the universe take care of the rest. But you need to make one choice. What is it that you want to shoot for? Right? With the Ace of Bows. So choose your target well. So now we are going to take a look at your Animal Spirit card. And I'm really loving this deck. And you got the Whale. And I really like this card. This card came out for me a few days ago. And what the Whale says is that, and it again connects so well with what I said about the Ask Body. The whale is a huge animal. So even though it's swimming, it's so stable. Even though it's a water animal, it's the most grounded animal. Because it's huge, it's heavy, it swims slowly. It's not an agile animal. It's not like a dolphin. It's stable. But this stability comes from its size, from its power. So the whale, it talks about the stability that comes with experience, with going through hardships in life. So for instance, with this ending, whatever it is that happened that caused you pain here, whatever it is that you went through with these people that is still connected to you energetically, I see that that gave you a lot of emotional stability and no emotional wisdom. So you can do it. You can root yourself. Because you're learning how not to be overwhelmed by other people's emotions. And you're learning that through experience. So with the whale card here, it asks you again to ground yourself. It's funny how many times this message is coming out. Ground yourself. Be like a whale. Be very grounded, very stable. Swimming slowly and having that power. Because the whale, it's an extremely powerful animal. And at the same time, it's so peaceful. It swims so peaceful. It just goes. It just moves. So I love the whale card here. So let's see what are the oracle cards. And we have this card from the Angels and Ancestors deck. Wise One. Grow within your current situation. So what I said about the whale. Some situations, some endings, they bring us pain, but we learn from them. And they just give us wisdom. Wise One. So they give us wisdom to continue moving through life. But you need to use that wisdom, right? With the Ace of Swords coming here twice. You need to use the wisdom that you acquired to move through life with grace, to be more stable, to be more emotional stable. Because that's the lesson that you learned here. And then we have no place like home. This is beautiful. And how I see this, it's so interesting because look at this. I said about this card and the crown chakra, right? Very activated here. And then look at this card. We have this thing, which I don't know what it is, but we have this thing going up. And then we have this house right on the top, at the very top. And there's a lot of light coming out. And for me, this is a representation of your crown chakra, so your connection with the divine. So connecting with the source, connecting with your true self, which is your higher self. Which is very important because when we are overwhelmed by feelings and situations, we forget who we really are. And who we really are is we are the soul. We are the divine part. The body, the emotions, they are just vehicles. But who we really are, we are the soul. We are creating these emotions, we are creating these thoughts, we are creating these fears. Or if we are not creating it ourselves, we are absorbing the ones that other people are creating, but we are not those. We are not these emotions. Those emotions, they don't define us, because who we are is the soul, and the soul is free of all these things. So when we connect with the soul, we detach from the emotions and the thoughts that we are having in that moment, and we can act with a lot more clarity. Because we are not acting from a space of fear, of being overwhelmed. We are acting from a space of clarity. But to seek this clarity is very important to connect with yourself, with your true self, who you really are. So see how important it is to both connect, to ground yourself, but keep your connection with your divine part alive, nurtured, powered, because that's who you really are. And that will help you gain clarity here. So this group, I see a big lesson with integration, because you need to integrate both. So you need to integrate both the groundedness in the real life, to not be overwhelmed, but your connection with the divine, to remember who you really are, and you are the divine part in you. So again, and it might sound a bit scattered, this reading, because I saw that it was a bit, at the same time that it all had the same theme, it was a bit everywhere, right? And as I said, I felt from the start that this is a very spiritual group. A very spiritual group, and I think that you are going through these lessons of integration, of integrating both parts of yourself, your spiritual self and the body, the living person who is here. And this integration is very hard for those who are following the spiritual path. We are all going through that, and I don't think that it's a never-ending journey. Because we are always learning new things, we are always having to integrate new things, right? If it has an ending, then we wouldn't be here right now. So I think that you guys are going through this big spiritual transformations, and you're being asked to integrate the wisdom that you're gaining, but also integrate these different parts of yourself here, the spiritual and the earthly part. So this is all I have for you, group number 2. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, please don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And I do work with private readings, so if you like this reading, if it resonates with you and you want to check out my website, I'm also linking it in the description box, so you can take a look at my readings. I work with both astrological and tarot readings in there, okay? So take care, I'll see you next time, bye-bye. Hi everybody. This is the reading for everybody who chose the group number 3 with the Opalite crystal. So we are going to take a look at what are the main challenges coming in the next few months, and also some advices on how you can deal with these challenges. I have some tarot cards for you with the challenges, and also some tarot cards with advices and messages for you to deal with them, and some oracle cards in the end. So let's see the first card that we have, self-love. Wow, that's a very direct message, right? So yes, this is a very direct message for this group. So I think that this group will be struggling a lot with finding self-love in the next few months, with discovering their own value, their true value, admiring themselves, connecting with themselves. I see that. I know what it comes to me, because I don't know if you can see from the light, but this is a peacock. And if you have seen a peacock in person, or if you have seen it in videos, when it's closed, when its tail is closed, it's just a regular animal. You know, people see it and it's nothing special. But that's because the beauty in it is hidden. But once it opens that tail, it's this absolutely magnificent animal with all those colors, those amazing colors in the tail. And it's just so huge, and it demands attention. Its presence demands attention. But at the same time, it's only when it exposes itself. Because otherwise, it's that very humble animal walking around that doesn't seem to be special, and no one could guess that they have that in them. And I see that for this pile number 3. I think that you have a uniqueness. We all do, right? Everybody does. We are all unique. And you have this uniqueness, you have this talent, you have this beauty in you that you might be very shy to show to other people. And I don't know if it's because you don't see it in yourself, or if it's because you are afraid that others won't recognize it in you. Because actually this is something that comes to me. Because the peacock, I wonder, does the peacock know how he looks like? I mean, he's a bird and he can't really look back at his tail. So I wonder, does he know how magnificent he looks when he opens the tail? I don't know if it does. But I know that other people see it. And at the same time, whether other people see it or not, it makes no difference. It's still its tail. It's still magnificent. If it's dark and there's no one around and the peacock decides to open its tail, it is still magnificent. It doesn't stop being magnificent just because no one else is seeing it. So I think there is this lesson, this challenge of self-love here, but I think that it's connected with the recognition of your own beauty and uniqueness, of your talents, of how valuable you are. And then there is this fear of, but they are not seeing me, they are not valuing me, but it doesn't make you less special, it doesn't make you less magnificent like the peacock. So I want to take a look already at what are your other cards, because this was a very straightforward. For the other groups, the message in this initial card was more complex, it was more complete also. And I had to use my intuition to see, but this one is very straightforward. So let's see what else we have here. So we have the Hierophant in the reverse. We have the Daughter of Swords in the reverse. And she is the Page of Swords in the reverse. And we have the Star. How beautiful is that, right? So let's start with the Hierophant in the reverse, because when the Hierophant is in upright, you need the knowledge, you need a bridge between you and the divine. You need a bridge between you and your higher self, because you're still an apprentice. So the Hierophant, he comes and he makes that connection. It's like a priest, right? I don't know if you're a religious person. I'm not a religious person, but I'm going to use this example. So you know when you go to church and there's a priest, so it's almost as if you need that man who will connect you with the divine. You don't speak with God directly. You have the priest that is making that connection. The Hierophant is the priest. But the Hierophant in the reverse, it tells you that you are ready to make that connection yourself. But since it came out here in the challenges area, describing your challenges, I feel that you are struggling to believe in your own potential. You're struggling to believe that you are capable, that you're ready. So it's not just self-love in terms of self-esteem, although this is also connected with self-esteem, but is not wanting to see, not being able to see, it's not wanting, but not being able to see that you are capable, that you are ready for whatever it is that you are thinking of. So if you are thinking of starting a new project, of starting a new business here, or if it's just your connection with yourself, you just feel unable to do that. You feel that you're not good enough, that you're not ready. And something that came to me while I was saying this is because the Hierophant is a card of Taurus. And Taurus is connected with the second house, which is the house of our personal values. So when you have a strong second house, or when you have strong Taurus in your chart, it's very connected with your self-esteem. You have strong values. But with the Hierophant in the reverse, it tells me that again. So it's a very straightforward message. I think this will be a fast reading because this is a very straightforward message of you in the next few months being challenged with trusting yourself, with seeing the value in yourself, with acknowledging that you have value, that you're capable. And then we have the Page of Swords in the reverse here, which again shows me this. It's an apprentice card because the pages are all apprentices. But in the reverse here, it's like you don't even see you in the apprentice position. So I do see this very low self-image here, this negative self-talk as well, because the swords is always a communication card. They are very communicative, especially pages, because they are younger energies. So it's very verbal, it's very communicative. And in the reverse here, I think that you will struggle with a lot of negative self-talk. And this can come from others, other people criticizing you, and it can come from you criticizing yourself. And with the Star card here, what the Star card tells me is that two things. So first, of the own star, right, of trusting yourself, because the Star has no one else but herself. It's right after the Tower, after everything has been broken down to the ground. And so the Star asks us to trust ourselves and continue moving forward. So it asks you to trust your own inner light. But the Star is also a card of healing. So I wonder if whatever happens in the next few months, if what caused you this lack of self-love was something going badly for you, an ending, something that you're having to heal yourself from right now. Because with the Star card, I see that you just came from a Tower moment. Some of you might have just come from a Tower moment. And you're needing to heal yourself. But in that Tower moment, your confidence, your self-esteem, they have all been damaged. So either if you lost your job and you're feeling incapable, or if you went through a breakup and that person made you feel like you were not lovable, like you were not valuable, this is something that you're still struggling with, or will be struggling with for the next few months. To acknowledge, to see the value within you, and to see that what other people say, how other people treat you, that says nothing about you, that says about them. And I know that this is very cliche, but it's completely true. How someone talks to us says nothing about us. It talks about them. Because when someone is good, when someone is loving, they don't treat other people badly. They will have boundaries, they will have limits, but they won't destroy other people's self-esteem for the sake of destroying it. So if this person made you feel unlovable or inadequate, or that you didn't have value, that says nothing about you. It just talks about them. It's about their own character, not about you. If you come to a peacock and you say, this peacock is horrible, it doesn't make it horrible just because one person didn't like it. That person might just not like peacocks. They might find, I don't know, snakes beautiful. They might just not like birds. But that says nothing about the peacock itself. So this card asks you, especially with the star here, to trust your inner light, your inner beauty, and to heal yourself from whatever happened here. So let's see some advices here. Oh, that I love it. So we have the fortune, the wheel of fortune here. And I love seeing it. Wow. And we have the magician. This is amazing. And we have the moon. You got 3 major arcana. 3 as your advices here. And I love how the moon is right under the star. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the wheel of fortune and the magician together. And it's amazing because I think that you are manifesting some amazing things into your life. So if you're really struggling with self-love, with lack of self-love, because of an ending, because of something that happened here, because of someone or a group of people who made you feel like that, it could also be family. Maybe some of you grew up with a family that was constantly undermining you, and then now you struggle with self-love. It could be something like that as well, especially since we just came from the holidays, right? And I know that lots of families, they have problems during holidays. Not everybody has the most loving family, and maybe it's something that happened during the holidays that made you feel bad about yourself. Whatever it is, I see the wheel of fortune and the magician coming to you. So I'm not clarifying it. I don't know what is that is coming to you, but I see something amazing that is being manifested here. Something great, something beautiful that is coming towards you. So you don't need to struggle with the self-love. I know that saying that won't change anything. You will still be struggling with that. But just know that even though you're feeling like that, you're still manifesting something incredible for you. And with the wheel of fortune here, the situation is changing because it's in the upright. So nothing stays great or horrible forever. We are in constant motion. If you are at the bottom of the wheel, the next step is going upwards. And if you are at the top, you will eventually come to the bottom again, because life is this infinite circle. We're always going around and around, and it's needed because it's in the bottom part that we learn our lessons. So we learn our lessons here, we shape ourselves, we become a better version of ourselves here, we pay our karma, and then we go up to collect that good karma, to have the rewards, to put that into practice. The integration that we did here when we were at the bottom, we are going to put into practice and integrate in ourselves here at the top. And with the magician card, especially in this deck, this is the top deck, and he's all golden, so there's just so much prosperity and abundance being manifested here, being attracted here, because you went through that. So I do think that this group here went through a lot of pain. I don't think, especially because no lack of self-worth, of self-love is just inherited from nowhere. You know, these things are shaped by our experiences. We usually deal with people and situations that make us feel bad about ourselves, that makes us forget of our own value. And that can happen through years and years. That can happen for months. That doesn't matter. But it's usually situations that make us feel like that. So I do see this group going through a lot of pain in some time in their lives. And also, this is something that is usually recurrent, right? Because for something to really get programmed in our brains, we need to go through those situations over and over and over and over again. So it's like we are mistreated by people, and we are undermined and undervalued by people over and over and over again until we create those beliefs around that. So we really start believing that. And it's hard to get away from it. but I see you focusing on it and attracting some good things. What I also see is almost as if the universe is sending you some good things just to show you that, yeah, there is magic. There is magic in the world. Let me turn around because my legs are starting to hurt. Yes, so it's almost as if the universe is sending you some blessings right now to remind you that there is still magic, that there are good things out there, that there are good people out there. And you need to see that, to believe that. So it's like the universe is giving you this. But with the moon here, is an act of faith. So you need to have faith that these good things are coming. You need to have the optimism that you deserve better and that better things are going to come. Because the moon in the tarot comes right after the star. So the star comes after the tower, after the breakdown moment, after everything falling. We need to heal ourselves and find our own inner light. And then in the moon, we need to walk that path that is not completely illuminated yet. We need to be guided by faith. And we need to just keep moving through the moonlight. So I really love these advices here. Because I see like something very good, very prosperous, very abundant coming to you as a gift from the universe, as a way of the universe telling you, hey, it's not just pain, it's not all pain. But you need to have faith. You need to have faith. And something that just came to me as well, it's almost as if this that is coming is a reward for your services, for enduring this. Because the same way that this happened to you and made you lack self-love, made you not believe in yourself, by interacting with the situations that caused this to you, you are helping increase the energy in this planet, because you are working on yourself, you're paying your karma, and you are maybe also acting as a tool for other people's karmas. And with that, you raise the vibration in this planet. So there is also this payoff for your services, if it makes sense. But this is something that came to me. So, yeah, group number 3. I'm really sorry for whatever it is that happened to you that made you doubt yourself. But I really see the universe making up for you for that. Showing you that there is love out there, that there are good people. There is magic there. So, I have a animal spirit card for you. And I'm loving these cards. And we have the hummingbird spirit. And it's so interesting because in the previous group, they had the whale, and now the hummingbird, you have the hummingbird, and these are 2 cards that have been coming out for me lately. So I'm feeling very connected with the hummingbird lately. And what I love about this is that, think of this bird. He's a very tiny bird. He's very beautiful as well. For me, it's one of the most beautiful birds. If you see pictures of it standing still, they are super colorful and they are just beautiful. And they fly very fast. And what they have is they have that long, very long beak, and they go to some flowers and they can collect I don't know what they collect, the nectar, the nutrients. They collect the nutrients from, and they pollinize the plants by inserting them all the way deep down and taking it. But it's not every plant that they can do this. The plant needs to be adapted to its peak, right? So the hummingbird won't bring its blessings to every plant. And not every plant will be able to appreciate its blessings. But more than that, not every plant will nurture the hummingbird. It's the right combination of the right bird with the right plant. And this brings me back to when I said about the group of people, that maybe it's a group of people who didn't value you, who didn't appreciate you. But the thing is, it takes a special kind of flower to appreciate this special kind of bird. And the other way around as well. It takes a special kind of bird to appreciate that special kind of flower. So it's okay if some people didn't value you. You are just not for them. You know? You won't take your nutrient from every kind of person. Not every person will value you, and you won't take what you need from every person. So it's important to connect yourself with the people who value you and people who values. Okay, let me say this again. It's important to connect with people who appreciate the value that you bring to their lives and who has value to add to yours as well, whose values you can appreciate as well. Sorry, group 3, I had to change my battery. So, as I was saying, I know that we do this a lot. Sometimes we want to be valued, to be recognized, to be seen by one specific person. And then it's hard to accept that they can see the value in us, that they can see what we have to offer. But the thing is, you might just have something to offer that they don't appreciate. And it's not about you. It's just what they appreciate or not. So, I don't know, let's say, for instance, you love apple pie, and apple pie is amazing, and you love apple pie. And there is this person who cooks an amazing strawberry pie, but you don't like strawberry. Their skills cooking that pie are amazing. Like, they are the best baker in the town and they can make the best strawberry pie. But you just don't like strawberry. So you're gonna eat that. You're gonna say like, yeah, I don't like it. And what is that bakery going to do? Are they going to say, oh my God, I think I'm a failure? I thought I was the best baker in this town, but apparently I'm not, because they don't like my pie. But it's just that that person doesn't like that specific flavor. It's not about your pie. It's not about you. So there is that. And at the same time, it's important to realize something. What are those people offering to you? Do they offer you something that you find value yourself? Because maybe you also don't value what these people or this person have to offer, but you still want them to see the value in you, you know? So again, I know that I'm repeating these messages many times, but it's coming out very strongly to me that it takes a special kind of bird to connect with a special kind of flower, and then both will take the best of the situation. Not just the bird, but also the flower. The flower is giving the bird the best nectar that it needs, the only kind of nectar that it needs, he can take from that flower. And that flower really appreciates that bird because he's the only bird who can pollinate it. So it works both ways. So it's important here to connect yourself with people who you value. You need to value the people you connect with, and they need to be the people who value you as well. It needs to go both ways. So connect with people, and any kind of people, okay? Even if this is a family or a love situation, any other kind of people. Connect with friends, be around people who value you and whom you value. Because that will be important for you to connect with your self-love. To be in a place where you feel nurtured, where you feel loved, and people who appreciate you back. It's very important to do that. So let's take a look at your oracle cards, and let me have a sip of tea first. And this is from the Angels and Ancestors deck. Sage. So be devoted and committed. And this is interesting because what it tells me is that self-love is a tough commitment. So for instance, think about the people you loved in your life, people that you really truly loved. Think about the people that you love the most, okay? Whoever they may be. They are not people whom you have just met. And they say, I don't really believe in love at first sight. I believe in attraction at first sight, but love, real love, comes with time. You need to interact with that person. You need to get to know them on a deep level. And then you love them. And it's the same with our friends, with our family, with our lovers. We might be attracted, we might be passionate about them in a short time, but real love comes with time. Comes with knowing them, with being committed to getting to know them, understanding them. And with self-love, it's the same thing. And people don't realize that many times, but you can only love yourself if you show up to yourself every day a bit. You need to connect with yourself, listen to yourself, listen to your own needs. Do what's best for you in every small action that you do. Choose yourself in every small action so that you can start building that trust with yourself, and then the self-love will come. Self-love won't come from night to day. It's not just like, oh, I need to love myself, but I don't know how. Well, to love yourself, you need to spend time with yourself. Spend alone time and enjoy your own company. Do things with yourself that you enjoy doing by yourself to create that connection. So spend time and build this trust. And how do you build trust? So for instance, think about a friend that you really trust. Why do you trust them? Probably because you needed them in the past, and every time you needed them, they were there for you. You could trust that if you call them, if you need someone to listen to you, they will, because you have been conditioned to that. Because when you call them and you need them, they are there and they can hear you and they can show up for you almost every time. And it's the same with building the connection with yourself. If you make choices that are the best for other people but not the best for you, and you do that over and over and over again, guess what? You will not create a relationship of trust with yourself. So you need to put yourself first in small things that you do throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month, throughout your life, so that you can trust that you have got your back. And that's very important in this process of self-love. Because love comes with trust as well, right? It's very important to have love and trust in a relationship. So it's very important to have love and trust with ourselves. So try to connect with yourself a bit every day to strengthen this relationship that you have with you. And then we have soulmates. And again, this tells me about what I said about the hummingbird. And I don't see this as only romantic soulmates. For some of you could be. If for some of you, you have struggled with a romantic relationship that made you feel unloved. But whatever this is, I don't see this as just a romantic love. I see this as what I said about the hummingbird, finding the people who connect with you, who value you, but because they can value what you have to offer. So these are soulmates. So it's very important to focus on these very authentic connections that you have. Instead of focusing on the connections that you don't have, on the family that didn't love you, on the friend that didn't love you, on the lover or on the ex-husband or whatever that didn't love you, focus on the people who can actually see the value in what you offer. Focus on your authentic connections. That's very important for these next few months. So pile number 3, this is all I have for you, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy and if this reading resonated with you, please don't forget to like and subscribe in the button below. And I do work with private readings. I have my website linked on the description box. So if you like this reading and if you would like to schedule, I work with both astrological and tarot readings, and you can find them all on my website. Okay, so I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi, group number 4. So this is the reading for everybody who chose the tiger's eye here. It's here. So let's take a look at your cards. we have some tarot cards with the challenge that you will be facing in the next few months, and also some tarot cards with the advices for you to better deal with them, and some oracle cards in the end. So let's take a look at your first card, and we have Transmute. And wow, there's a lot of transformation going on here. And if you felt drawn to group number 2, I saw that group number 2 was also a very spiritual group, and I see the same for you guys. I think that this is a group of people who are quite spiritual, quite attuned to their inner self, very attuned to self-transformation, shadow work, doing things like that. Because I see it quite strongly here with this Transmute card, and I don't know if you can see it, but there is a bee, but there's this big eye here at the top. And for me, this big eye, I really see this as some sort of spiritual awakening that is going on, some transformation. And we'll take a look at your cards, and we'll see at what area of your life this transformation is coming through. If it's through your relationships, it's through your connection with the world, if it's your spirituality, if it's some spiritual gifts that you are starting to develop, we'll see what it is. But I see this big connection with the divine, but also a big connection with the inner self. So I would also say that this group not only is spiritually attuned, but also very connected with their own psychology. This is a group that constantly try to understand themselves and also understand other people, what drives other people, why people act the way they do, why you act the way you do. So I think that you are very connected with the psychology of others, you know. Maybe you read about it, or maybe you just have an interest in it and you like to observe people. But I see that for this group as well. And then with this Transmute card, I think that you guys are going through some big transformations, which probably happened already in the year of 2020. If you're seeing this reading now, close to the beginning of 2021, then I would think that these are transformations that have been going on through 2020, but you will struggle with integrating them a bit in the next few months, the first few months of 2021. But if you're watching this video way later on, then I still think that at the moment that you watch this reading, you have already been going through these transformations, and you are now struggling to integrate them and integrate the lessons that you received from them with this Transmute card. So let's take a look at your tarot cards with the challenges. So we have the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, the Two of Swords in the reverse, ooh, and the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so Five of Pentacles and Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. So I think that this is very connected with your finances. And I don't know if this is a group of people who lost their jobs recently, or that are fearing losing their jobs, or maybe you didn't lose your job, but you're just deciding on a lifestyle that won't pay you as well as you used to be paid. So there's something here with learning how to move through financial struggles. And if it's not financial, it's still material in a sense. So I don't know if something happened to your house, or if something happened to your car, or if you lost a belonging, something like that. But it's quite connected to the material world. Okay? And then we see that here also with the Five of Pentacles. So it's that feeling of scarcity, it's that feeling of not having enough. And I'm finding it interesting here, because what I'm picking up is that it's almost as if it's part of the lesson for you here with the transmute card. It's almost as if your guides are telling you that you need to transform your relationship with money. And you need to focus, either you need to focus more on your spiritual connection, or that in order for your spiritual connection to manifest, to transform, you need to go through this financial struggle. So I don't know if this is a karma that you're needing to pay in order to kind of transcend and transform yourself. But I'm seeing this connection with your spiritual development. It's almost as if you're being asked to change your relationship with money, to change your relationship with your finances, with your belongings. And maybe you needed to focus less on them. And when I mean focus, I don't mean that you should not work or that you shouldn't care about money, but it's more shifting the importance that you place on it. Knowing that you can be very abundant and you can have a lot of prosperity as long as you don't put that above everything else. And you needed to learn these lessons of not putting money, of not putting prosperity, of not putting the material over everything else. So you needed to go through this struggle so that you could transmute your relationship with it, so that the abundance can come back to you. And this is very interesting because I do see this as something that is in the moment. It's not something that is permanent. I do see this as a lesson that you need to go through. So you need to shift your perspective towards money, the importance that you place on it. So maybe you have been putting your work or your money above many other things in your life. And now you are going through a time of financial struggle to learn that that was never supposed to be the priority. That's something important. We all need it. We all need money. We all need money to pay our bills. And not only pay our bills, but to have fun, to enjoy, to travel, to do things for ourselves. But that shouldn't be the priority. That should be the means to an end, but not the end itself. So I see that for you, group number 4. And it's quite straightforward here, and at the same time it also feels vague. It's interesting. Because with the Two of Swords in the reverse here, right in the middle, so right between the Ace of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, I see this. So it's learning how to prioritize, because the Ace of Swords is a card of choices. So in the regular Rider-Waite, it shows a woman with a blindfold and she's holding 2 swords, and there is a kind of a shore but full of stones behind her, and she needs to go through that. She needs to go through that path, but she can't do that unless she removes the blindfold and she makes a choice. So for this group, I think that this choice has been made for you. It's like you were prioritizing the wrong thing. You were putting money and finances on top of everything else, and then since it's in the reverse, it's like now you don't have a choice. Now you will need to prioritize what is right for you, because money now is not something, it's not a priority anymore. It will be taken from you, removed. And I know, I'm sorry that this is such a harsh message, but it's what's coming through. So there's a lesson here that the universe is kind of forcefully placing you in the direction that you should be following. So you will go through this struggle for a while, and then the abundance will come back. That's the thing, because then the abundance can come back afterwards, after you learn the lesson. So let's see what are the advices here. Yes, I do think, I didn't open the other ones, but we have the High Priestess here. And I said in the beginning that there was some sort of spiritual awakening going on, and that you were prioritizing money over something. And I do think that this is your spiritual development. So maybe you were putting your finances, your work, many other things before your spiritual development. So the universe is kind of removing that job, removing that prosperity, so that you need to focus on this right now. Like, okay, now you don't have the job, so now you will use your time to connect with yourself, to connect with your spiritual self, and to do the work that needs to be done. And then after it's done, then we'll give you back the prosperity again. So I see something like that. Then we have the Three of Wands, the Justice, and the Four of Discs. Yes, so for me, this is quite a straightforward message, okay? Especially with the Justice here and the Four of Discs. Because, well, the Justice, as it says, is a balance that is being brought back. So there needs to be more balance in your life, in your priorities. And this balance will be kind of forced on you from this. You know, this is to bring a balance. This is to bring things to a better place for you to better define your priorities. But it will come through pain, through scarcity. And with the Four of Discs here, in the Rider-Waite Tarot, this is the picture of a man holding on to his pentacles. He has 4 pentacles and he's holding on to them, like really attached. So it is also a card of putting the material world, putting money over other things that are important. So even though I'm getting this very strong message with the High Priestess here, it might not be for all of you. Maybe some of you had been prioritizing your job over your family, for instance, something like that. And then the universe is telling you right now, no, this time you will focus on your family. This time you will focus on this. And then you can have your job back. Then you can have the money back. Then you can have everything back. But at this moment, we need you to focus on this, on your relationship, on the people you love, on your family. And for some of you, I'm getting this strong message of your spiritual life. So you will need to use that time to use this. And it's also interesting because even, like, for instance, for some of you, it might not be that it's that big of a struggle, the fact that you don't have the money. It's like maybe you lost your job, but you had a lot of savings. So it's like you can take care of yourself during these few months in which you don't have a job. Because you have savings, you can take care of yourself. But it's more of getting rid of the time that you were spending on it so that you can put that time back into yourself, back into your own spirituality. But there will still be that sense of loss here, because with the Four of Pentacles, I see that you were quite attached to it, to the material world. But the universe wants to bring some balance here. Because also with the Three of Wands, and it's written as virtue. The message here in the card is virtue and then adjustment. So again, bring back into the spotlight what your guides think that is important for you to focus on right now. So let's take a look at your animal spirit card. And we got the mouse spirit. And the mouse can be a very anxious energy. And for me, again, this is so funny how it's tying, because the mouse spirit here, it's a very anxious energy, and it's also a very scattered energy. He's quite anxious because he puts his energy on everything. He wants to have his hands a bit on everything. And again, it's funny because I said something similar to pile number 2, and when I opened this card, I said that pile number 2 had something similar with the spiritual awakening. So if you were in between this pile and pile number 2 with the citrine, I would recommend you to watch that reading as well, because there might be a message for you in there. But with the mouse spirit, he is this very anxious energy who wants to be around everything. He just scatters his time on everything. Instead of focusing on what is important, he's just trying to like run around, going from one thing to the other. And this for me ties with the Two of Swords in the reverse here about the choice, right? About making a decision. So it's like, okay, so some options are being taken away from you, so you can't place your energy on them anymore. And when the mouse spirit is balanced, he's very resourceful, because he's that very resourceful person who knows how to do everything. He's very skilled, someone who has a mouse spirit, okay? So it's a very skilled person who knows how to do everything, who knows how to do things around the house and fix things. Or maybe if the person is artistic, they can paint and they can play, they can do everything, you know? They're very resourceful. But the problem is that the energy can get too scattered when it's unbalanced. And you might end up placing your energy on things that are not important in that moment. So it's important to be in the balanced side of the mouse spirit and not let it overwhelm you. So this is what is happening. So some of the options here are being removed from you with the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. It can also, something else that came to me, it can also be, for instance, if you are applying for a new job. So it's not like you still have your job, okay? But then you are applying for a new job and you are just spending so much time studying and preparing yourself for the job, but you also need to do other things. And then it's like the universe is turning down that offer for you. Okay, you're not getting this because it doesn't want you to spend any time in that. In any case, it's something for me here that is very connected with the material world. I don't think that this is the end of a relationship or something like that. I think this is very connected with the material. It's something more tangible that you are losing here, or that is being denied to you. But it is in order for you to prioritize your time better and focus on things that are more important. So let's take a look at your oracle cards. And we have the angels and spirits. Angels and ancestors deck. I always forget the name. Yes, so mountains. Stand your ground. So again, and it's interesting because mountain, so it's very grounded, right? Very connected. And again, very similar to pile number 2, very similar. So stand your ground, be connected, be grounded to the now. And we have these pentacle cards here, the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, and then the 5 of Pentacles, which is worse in the upright, which talks about scarcity, which talks about the loss of material and physical stability. And then we have this stand your ground. So this will be a moment in which it will be important for you to connect with the things that you are doing, with these priorities, and really be present in them. Because I think that once whatever happens here happens, or if it has already happened, I think that it might make you lose your ground a bit, might make you feel maybe the emotions will get a bit overwhelming for you. So you might lose touch with that reality in that moment. And it's important to do that because that's exactly why you are being deprived of these things, so that you can connect with other things better. So it's important to ground yourself in those things that you have, that you will still have. And then we have regeneration. This is crazy, right? Because we have the card transmute, and then we have regeneration. And the regeneration card, so if you can see here, the whole ground is burning and the tree is growing. And what happens, for instance, I think that this is a terrible practice, but in some countries where they have cattle, they burn the land because the organic matter that is produced from that burn, it feeds the ground and then new things can grow afterwards. So you need to burn down what is not needed anymore so that better things can grow from that. That's a regeneration process, right? But for that we need to get rid of things that have been there before. So this loss here, you need to get rid of that. That needs to be removed out of your energy, removed out of your space, so that it will free space, removed out of your energy, sorry, but that so that it will free the space for better things to grow, to germinate from that. This is really nice with the transmute. And as I said, I think that this is a very spiritual group, very connected to their own psychology. And I think that, I do have this feeling that the group that is listening to me right now knows what I'm talking about. It's hard to accept that, but I think that you know that that's how transformation takes form, right? And I have another cliche example, and I know that this is very cliche, but like the butterfly. So the caterpillar is a caterpillar? I don't know. I don't remember the English word for that thingy that becomes a butterfly afterwards, but it goes into the cocoon and it doesn't just become a butterfly and comes out. No, it has to dissolve itself. It will completely dissolve itself, destroy itself, so that it can be regenerated, rebuilt into a butterfly. And this is true for all transformation processes, and it's painful because usually big things are taken away from us. But it's just so that it cleans space for something else. And also because transformation usually comes through pain. We need to go through that loss, right? It's like the wheel of fortune. It's always spinning. You need to go through the bottom of the wheel of fortune to pay the karma so that you can ascend up and harvest better things. I just had that conversation with another group. So I really love this regeneration and the transmute card. And as I said, I think that this group knows exactly what I'm talking about, because this group is very attuned to psychology. So you know that shadow work is a painful process, that it isn't easy, but you need to focus, let go of what needs to go, and then focus on the things that are left, because they are the things that are going to be developed, that will grow into something big, something new. Okay, so that's all I have for you, group number 4. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, if this reading resonates with you, then don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And I do work with private consultations as well, both astrological and tarot readings. I'm linking my website on the description box, and if you like this reading and you would like to schedule a personal reading, you can contact me through my website, okay? So take care, I'll see you next time, bye bye.